Good morning, and on the table today I've got my very nice example of a Saito FA-120 engine. Now this is an engine that I picked up in part of a large Facebook Marketplace purchase. Now to me this engine looks incredibly low time and in very nice shape, and if this exhaust is the correct one that came with this thing, this would indicate that it has extremely low runtime on it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do something that I don't normally do, which is I'm going to disassemble this perfectly good engine for an upgrade so that I can install some new Boca bearings in this. These are high performance Boca bearings, so I'm just basically going to do a disassembly of this engine. I've never run this engine yet. And I've never really, I don't know that I've done a look inside, and maybe I have done a quick look inside of it. But as far as cleaning goes, I'll have to play that one by ear. I really don't want to disassemble this carb because I've already played with the carb and got it set up at one time. I know I did at least went that far. But I know I never disassembled the engine, so we're going to do that just so I can replace bearings on this thing. Sometimes that magnet comes in handy when you got screws that are being a little stubborn. So this version Saito FA-120, I gotta try and figure out where I got my camera oriented, has got this nice cylindrical tubular intake manifold that's very smooth. It's not the older style that has that square intake manifold. I could have to look. I can't recall if I've done a look inside and a video on this engine or not. I just really don't remember. But it looks really nice inside. Now the swirling here on the case leads me to believe that it has been run to some degree. Let's see here, what's next? I don't think that's the right size. So again, doing this disassembly simply for the purpose of being able to upgrade this engine to some Boca bearings. Now the way I remove bearings on these engines, I think I may have inadvertently made it sound like the bearings get damaged, but I don't necessarily believe that that's the case because, and I'll show you when I remove these, when I remove them, I'm actually hitting the outer race with the punch, not the inner portion of the race. So it, in theory, should not be damaging them, especially if I'm not just hitting the one side all the time and I'm moving around. So that's what we're gonna look at here. Yeah, so this engine looks really nice. It's got a gasket on this rocker cover, but not one on this one. Which is not a big deal. I'm not a big proponent of you have to have gaskets on these rocker covers for these engines because it's just not true that it's absolutely necessary. They get lubrication up there, but it's not like the thing gets just filled with oil. So why would you need a gasket up there? Now these larger Saito engines have the rocker bracket here. Rocker arm bracket actually has a separate rocker arm bracket, and they are right and left oriented. And I just had a discussion with a buddy of mine about this, so I kind of want to check and see. They're right and left oriented, but I wasn't entirely sure if I thought I told him that they had guide pins that would actually denote the right and left side, or at least make it so that they were polarized. Let's see, what size is this? Oh yeah, those can be kind of tight. So get an L wrench on that. Okay, I guess they don't, Chris, I guess they don't have, or at least this one doesn't have a guide pin per se to hold it in place, but it does have a little cutout, or, well, no, it doesn't even have a cutout, it just has a little shadow, of this area here that kind of shows which side is which, but I believe that they are left and right oriented. We'll find out, I guess, when we go to do the reassembly. I'm not going to drop the valves on this engine. I seriously doubt there's a need for that, but I do need to at least disassemble all of this. I probably could have gone without pulling these things off, but they're coming off. There's definitely evidence of oil up there. This is the engine that, when it came to me, was on a homemade stand that was an inverted mount. I still have that, so that in theory, if I really wanted to, I could attempt to run this thing inverted. I'd have to, or other engines inverted, I would have to, yes, I did go and break these loose off camera. I would have to mount it somehow because it's, you know, it's a whole big deal. But it did look like a pretty decent inverted engine mount setup. I think it's it came with that Ernst adjustable engine mount. Like I said, this was mounted on there. I don't know what the man that owned, what his intention was for that, but he was quite the innovator. He liked to experiment with a lot of things, so I would like to talk to him because he seemed like he was really, by the notes he took and all the ads and articles and all kinds of stuff he had. Many of those things I've shown here in the old school RC video series. This is just really uncomfortable here. Hi, Sasha. Alright, well, with a lot of effort, we got that off, but I don't understand why it took that much effort. So here's our piston. Very clean. Run. Run a couple of times and that's it. I'm not going to disassemble any of this stuff. Heck, the top of the bottom of the valves don't even look like they've got any kind of carbon on them. I don't understand why this was so difficult pulling that off. It's almost like it had some kind of adhesive on it. It's kind of what it feels like. It's interesting. Okay, well, anyway, that's off. After great effort was exerted. Go. We got our, let's hope this gasket is in good shape, and it is. We can reuse that. All looks good. I mean, obviously I'm probably going to do some cleanup on this thing. Hi there, Sasha. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it, or I'm going to put this on here first, heat it up and get this drive hub off. Hopefully this one's big enough to do this. Yeah. Okay, I've got tension on that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just heat that up. Put a little oil in there and heat it. So I drip a little oil right here at the tapered collar where that mechanical bond is. And now, in theory, since I've got decent tension on it, when I heat it up, it should just pop right off. I guess it helps if you plug in your extension cord. Trying to get it so you can see this dramatic effect, but without burning up other things. This should just snap like that. That was exactly what I was hoping to see. And didn't even get all that hot. Didn't take that much effort. Oh, here's something. Need to make sure we don't lose that little thrust washer. Okay, now move this over here and get this crankshaft out of here. I'm going to put a little bit of oil. A little bit of oil around this front bearing. And try to hit this rear bearing a little bit too, so it'll want to come out. That should be good. This one I'm going to heat up rather well. Especially this main crank area. Hopefully that'll be enough. Get this centered more so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so crankshaft is out. Didn't take a whole lot of heat. So now what I'm going to do here, like I was saying, is I'm going to punch this front bearing out. I don't think I need that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go in here and just, hopefully I can reach it. Just going to try to catch the outer portion as much as I can. And shift positions. So that bearing's out, and you can see it's a fully shielded bearing. Feels beautiful, feels good. No damage done to it. So fully sealed front bearing. Now let's see. Now this is gonna suck because I'm just barely getting an edge on this. I'm gonna have to put this back up here. So there's just barely an edge on this. Just barely feel an edge on this guy. And it's coming out. Look at that, felt right in the groove there. So here's the rear bearing. Oh, wow. Something went wrong with this bearing. It's like really, well, it's a good thing. It wasn't like this before, so I don't understand why all of a sudden it would be so tight, but man, that thing is jacked up. Oh, it's just very, I don't know if that bearing is any good at all. I think it's just the crankshaft was just sliding around in the race. So I guess it's a very good thing that I decided to do this, because that rear bearing is shot. And just, I don't know why or how, but it felt like this thing was rotating fine while it was in the engine, but as I rotate it now, I can see that that bearing See, I can rotate it like this, but the crankshaft doesn't rotate. So the bearings, you see the bearing balls are not moving at all. So yeah, there's something, because the race should be, you know, firmly in place and not move, and it should just only be the inner part that's moving. So that's not moving at all. So hey, it's a very good thing that I decided to do this on this engine, because I'm not sure what that gentleman was doing, if he was experimenting with gasoline and it doesn't smell like gasoline, but obviously there's something wrong with that rear bearing, which is going to require an upgrade and replacement of some Boca bearings. Now, I don't know how much, if any of this, I'm going to put in the ultrasonic cleaner. I'll probably put this head in there a little bit, or maybe just clean it by hand with a toothbrush, because there is a little bit of stuff on there, but for the most part this engine and the piston don't need to be cleaned at all. This is a little stiff, so I might end up punching that out and cleaning that pin off. Not might, I will, but that's not going to be done on this video. So there's your disassembly of the Saito 120 engine for an upgrade to high performance Boca bearings.